Imagine opening the greatest book ever, written, the Book of Life itself, and finding that most of its pages are blank. Scientists thought they'd finally cracked humanity's code when they mapped our DNA. But here's the shock. Only a tiny portion of it tells our bodies how to build and survive. The rest? Page after page of what looks like gibberish, useless letters, strange repeats like a secret language no one can read. Why would nature carry so much hidden writing that doesn't seem to do anything? Could these empty pages be guarding secrets about who we are, where we came from, and where we're going? Let's find out. Back in the early 2000s, scientists proudly announced they had mapped all of human DNA. The world expected answers to every question about life, but instead, there was silence. Out of the 3 billion letters of our genetic script, only a sliver actually gave instructions. The rest looked like nothing. It was like unlocking a computer program, expecting to find neat lines of code, but instead finding endless blank spaces and random words scattered in between. Was it garbage? Or was it something we simply didn't understand yet? Some scientists dismissed it as leftovers, mistakes from millions of years of evolution, like old files clogging a hard drive. But others whispered that this hidden code might be more powerful than the parts we already understood. Maybe, just maybe, life had written a second story between the lines, one we hadn't yet learned to read. In the 1970s, when researchers first saw these strange, repetitive sequences in DNA, they gave it a brutal name: junk. Like calling an attic full of old boxes worthless just because you don't recognize what's inside. The term stuck, shaping how people thought about it for decades. Why study junk when the real DNA was the part making proteins, building muscles, carrying oxygen, and keeping us alive? But then, whispers began. Evolution doesn't usually keep useless baggage for millions of years. If this junk had survived through countless generations, maybe it wasn't junk at all. Maybe it was more like a diary, scribbled, messy, and sometimes illegible, but still containing pieces of history too important to throw away. The attic boxes we called trash might actually hold the keys to understanding life itself. As scientists dug deeper, they stumbled on something eerie. Hidden in these junk sections were fragments of ancient viruses. Yes, our DNA carries scars from battles fought long before humans even existed. In fact, nearly 1/10 of our genetic script comes from viruses that once tried to infect our ancestors. Most of these viral fossils are broken, silent, and unable to cause harm. But some have been reused in shocking ways. For example, one viral gene was recycled by nature to help humans form the placenta. Without it, we might not even exist. Our very birth depends on the remains of an ancient enemy. But not all of these viral ghosts are friendly. Some sit quietly, waiting. Scientists suspect they can wake up under certain conditions, possibly triggering cancers or immune diseases. Imagine carrying inside you the echoes of creatures long extinct, ghosts of infections that may still whisper to your cells. Our DNA, it turns out, is not a clean instruction manual. It's a battlefield layered with scars, victories, and unfinished wars that still shape us today. If you think of your DNA as a library, then some of the books on the shelves weren't even written by humans, they were smuggled in by invaders. Long ago, viruses slipped into our ancestors' cells and left pieces of themselves behind. Those pieces didn't just vanish, they were copied into our DNA and passed down, generation after generation. Most of these viral ghosts are broken relics, like rusty weapons from wars long past. But some still have power. In labs, scientists have managed to wake up ancient viral fragments, proving they're not entirely dead. It's like opening an old tomb and finding that the body inside still breathes. Here's the twist. Some of these viral codes might have shaped what makes us human. They play roles in how our brains work, how our immune system reacts, even how we reproduce. The invaders we once fought to the death may now live inside us as part of who we are. But if they could change us once, could they change us again? Astronomers speak of a strange force called dark matter, something we can't see, but that holds the universe together. Biologists now use the same phrase for non-coding DNA. It doesn't build our bodies directly, but without it, everything might fall apart. Think of it like the director of a play. The actors, the genes, deliver the lines, but the silent director decides who speaks, when, and how loudly. These silent regions of DNA, maybe controlling the show from the shadows, pulling strings we can't yet see. But here's the mystery. Why do humans carry so much of this hidden code, while some tiny creatures survive with almost none? Are we inefficient hoarders of useless DNA? Or are we carrying a secret toolkit for survival, one that only activates in times of crisis? If that's true, then our so-called junk DNA is not garbage. It's a safety vault, a secret stash of possibilities, waiting for the day life needs them most. The strangest part is this. Even though these sections don't give direct instructions, they still control everything. Scientists call them switches and dimmers. They decide when a gene turns on, how long it stays active, and how much protein it produces. Imagine a house with thousands of lights. The genes are the bulbs, but these switches are the wiring hidden behind the walls. You don't see them, but they decide whether the room glows or stays dark. And sometimes, those hidden switches misfire. A single glitch in non-coding DNA can flip the wrong light and cause devastating illnesses, cancers, birth defects, or brain disorders. It's proof that what we once ignored may be the most powerful part of the entire system. Even more unsettling, some of these switches can reach across long stretches of DNA to control faraway genes, as if invisible hands are rearranging the script. Our genome isn't just a book, it's a labyrinth of moving parts, and the junk may be the maze itself. For years, scientists assumed these silent stretches of DNA couldn't hurt us. After all, if they weren't doing anything, how could they cause harm? But reality proved more chilling. Many deadly diseases, cancers, heart problems, even certain brain disorders have been traced not to the genes we know, but to the quiet regions we once ignored. It's like finding out that the creaking floorboards in an old house are more dangerous than the broken staircase. A single hidden switch in non-coding DNA can flick the wrong way, turning healthy cells into killers. Entire lives can be shaped or destroyed by mistakes in the places we thought didn't matter. The biggest shock came when scientists ran massive genetic studies. Again and again, the red flags for disease weren't in the coding parts, but in the junk. The invisible shadows of our DNA turned out to be the silent killers, lurking where no one had bothered to look. Tomorrow, if these hidden codes control how genes are used, then they may be the real engines of evolution. Think about it. Humans and chimpanzees share nearly identical protein-building genes, yet we became two very different species. The difference, scientists suspect, lies in the hidden instructions, the way the switches and signals of non-coding DNA shape our bodies and our brains. This means the so-called junk might be the secret to why humans became who we are, and it may still be holding on to blueprints for what we could become. Evolution may not just be written in our genes, it may be waiting in the shadows of the code we don't yet understand. So perhaps the junk isn't junk at all. Perhaps it's the future already written, but not yet revealed. Our DNA is not a clean, orderly book, it's a haunted library, full of ghostly fragments, secret switches, and hidden codes that decide our fate. What once looked like meaningless static may be the most important story of all. The real question is, are we ready to read it? What do you think is our junk DNA, a curse, a gift, or a hidden map to the next stage of life?